So in this episode, what I'm going to do, I'll be talking about the data import. Now, Salesforce has this option called data import where you can import the records to the Salesforce. Now, you must be wondering, why do we need it, right? So think about a scenario. If you're an architect, right, you've been given a task to migrate, let's say, a legacy data from a legacy system um, to the Salesforce. You can do using APIs, but that could be a more challenging way to do it. But let's say you have an option where legacy system can import the data to an Excel, say for instance account or contact and opportunities or other custom objects, what they have. You can pretty much use the Salesforce data import wizard to import those stuff. But that being said, there are limitations to the data import wizard. Like for instance, you cannot import certain objects, um, and you cannot cross over 50,000 records, right? If you do that, then obviously you need to use something called the data loader, right? Now, I'm going to show you both the tools just to give you a good understanding. And it's a pretty simple tool to use. And most likely you might get involved in data implementation process as a data architect, because in terms of advisory or maybe some kind of assistance, because what might happen, um, it's not necessary that every company has a functional consultant or admins. So you might be the one guy who will be playing the role of admin architect, right? So it's good to know how the import process works. Or you might be an architect, let's say from SAP, right? You wanted to help someone from Salesforce who is new to the Salesforce how to do the data import. So it's good for you to know how to do that. This is pretty simple. So once you log into the Salesforce, right, you go to the setup. Now, if you don't know how to go to setup, it's pretty simple. You can go to the gear cog icon here and go to setup. Most likely, when you log into the Salesforce, it will take you to the setup page by default. If not, then you can go here and you can go to the setup. Now, the service setup is different though, so it's a regular setup. And under that, you can go to say data import. Yeah, so I can go to data import wizard. Now, so you scroll down here, there's an option called launch wizard. So you can go there. Now you can import, some of the standard objects like account, contacts, leads, solution, campaign, but you can't do opportunity here, as you can see. Um, you can also do the custom objects, like I got a few custom objects. You can do that, right? So it's pretty simple. So for instance, if I wanted to, let's say, import something from, let's say, an Excel, right, to say this account log. How do you do that? So you go here and you can select this and you say add new records, and I will say match by. You can leave it as such, and you can leave it as which account field in your specific master detail relationship. So obviously, or if I wanted to do account name, you can do that as well. So you can do CSV, and I'll do test CSV. Now, if you go next, you'll see that, obviously your CSV contains comma separator information, right? Now, it's not very obvious all the time to Salesforce that these are the fields from CSV needs to be, these are the, column from CSV needs to be mapped to a specific field for a specific object in Salesforce. So if Salesforce is unsure, I mean the software behind the hood is unsure about what fields that needs to be mapped, so you have that opportunity to do that. So in this case, it's confused, obviously. So that's why you get this option called unmapped. So you just say map. I wanted to map it by, sorry, the name. Just close it. Just wanted to say count. Just map it. Obviously, and then you can say log. There are more fields you can do. I just show you a very simple example. And I do next and to map fields, and you can do start import. Okay, so you can go here, it will take you there, bulk data, and you can see the update, right? That's pretty cool. Now, let's say I'm not interested to use the data import tool. I wanted to use instead a data loader, right? Let's say I have almost more than 50,000 records which I need to import. So how do you use the data loader? So data loader, um, you know, you can pay, you can buy the license, or you can use it free. Yeah. Now you must be wondering, okay, so since the data loader can be used for, let's say if I look at the pricing model here, so you get a lot of stuff free, like file size 10 MB, related objects you can do 10,000, number of tasks unlimited, number of records you can do, 10,000 per month, and pricing is $0 per month, right? So let's say if you wanted to do, you can do this one, for instance, 10,000 per month. You must be asking, why do you even have to bother, you know, the data import, right? Why can't I use the data loader instead? Because if we are, or it might be also the case, you might have a license for data loader, then yes, you don't really have to use the data import, right? Because you can pretty much use the data loader for it. Uh, Now, if you do not have a license model, right? If you don't have a license, if you wanted to use the free, then the thing, there might be a challenge associated with it. The first of all, you need to get a security clearance. For instance, I'm an architect. I do consulting at a government agencies. So if you wanted to use any new software which is not unauthorized, you need to get a security clearance, and it might take a week or a couple of weeks, and it needs to go to privacy and risk, because you cannot just plug in any new software to hit the data to the production, right? To connect to the prod. It is a security risk. So you need to factor that into consideration. But but if you already have the software in production, or in other words, if your company has authorized IT team to use the software, then you might as well use this one, right? Rather than doing the data import. So it just depends, right, what you have in place. And like I said, big organization has security clearance in process. You need to take it to the different levels, like security, privacy and risk, and just to make sure that they are happy with it. And once you're happy with it, if they let you use it, you can go for it. So what I'll do, I'll go to log in with Salesforce, and you can do log in. Now I can go here, import. Sorry, new task, because obviously I wanted to do new task. I'd import. I'll do insert. You can do upsert or update. So you can do three things. And let's say I wanted to choose account. Yeah. And I'll do next. And I'll also upload, and I'll do test. Yeah. So it's confused which field you wanted to map. So I will say I wanted to map it to account name, and this one number. Maybe I'll map it to, which one I should map it to. Something, right? Um, let's say account number. If you got account number, yeah. I'll just map the account number. I'll just do next. You can use the bulk API with 200 records per request. So there is an option to do the bulk. So, and you can also do advanced. Now, you need to be careful when you do an import, because you need to worry about the pick list. Let's say if you have multi-pick list, you need to put that in your Excel as the comma separated. And if you are using, say, a restricted pick list, then by default, if you're, it will go for the default value, because obviously, it will not override the value from your Excel if the Excel value is completely different to what you have. Um, and you need to be careful if you're using a boolean, say true or false. It should be 0 or 1 in your Excel document which you wanted to import, and you need to be careful about the time date format. Yeah. So, and also the formula fields, right? If you're trying to map it to formula field, it will not work, because the formula field is a read-only field in Salesforce. So these things you need to pay very special attention. Okay, so I'm gonna do save and run. Okay. Now, and I will do this, and if I do run, I just do run. right? It's just doing a run, right? So it's queued. So what it will do, it will obviously insert few records to an account object. So I mean, I gave you a very simple demo, but this is how you can use it. And now you must be wondering, why do I even care this for a data architect certification? You might get quizzed one or two questions around that, and it's very important to know because these are the things which you might be getting involved. Um, this is one of the scenarios, right? Obviously, you can import data from a different source, right? So these days, Snowflakes is highly popular. Now, apparently, I heard that the Salesforce Connect supports Snowflake, which is great, but that is beyond the scope of this course at this stage. So that being said, that's all I wanted to cover in this episode. Thank you.